Salvete omnes, mihi nomen est Magister Ioannis Piazza. Hello, this is John Piazza, Latin teacher from Berkeley High. Continuing in our video series, I just wanted to introduce this part 4, I believe, by giving you some tools that you can use to speak Latin during what is a pretty important activity for most Latin students, and that would be for reading. And you might be saying to yourself, well, you know, a lot of the reading we do happens to be in English, right? Most Latin students in the English-speaking world usually are translating Latin into English and probably find themselves using English to you know, moderate and to moderate your discussion and your session. And what I'm suggesting is that even if your task is to translate Latin into English, you can actually use Latin as the language of communication within that session. And so I'm inviting you to try that sometime if you're either in person or if you're virtually meeting with people in a group to tackle a new reading or a text. Think about the possibility of using Latin as your language of communication while you do that. And I want to show you some vocabulary words and things that you can use in order to do that. So let me share my screen with you so that you guys can see this for this thing right here, okay? And if you're watching this on a YouTube channel, you should be able to scroll down and find the link to this handout, actually, which has a little introduction and goes from there. Okay, so I'm going to make this pretty quick. You can obviously pause it and go back if you need to, but I just wanted to demonstrate a few of these things. So let's say you do have your textbook or your reading or something, and you're meeting up with your classmates, and you want to do some reading through there. Well, here's some basic phrases you might use, right? You might come together and say, quid legamos? What shall we read? What should we read? Or maybe you know what you're reading and you're on the same page about that. You say, quid legimus? Quid legimus? What are we reading? Oh, okay. And you might respond with liber or textus, liber noster, our text, textus noster. And then you might say, ubi incipiamos? Where shall we begin? Ubi incipiamos. And someone might say, quae pagina? What page is that? So let's say we're starting here on page 25, okay? Incipiamos pagina pagina vigésima quinta, right? The 25th page. Or quae pagina, and maybe you don't know the number right away, so you can just respond in English, right? You can always substitute. You can always substitute some English there if you need to, right? But as long as you keep things going, mostly in Latin, that's the goal. And then you might be wondering what line. Quae linea. What line here? And you say, linea quarta, the 4th line, or quatuor. You know, maybe somebody comes in late. They're like, salvete, ubi somos? Where are we? And then you could say, you know, pagina vigésima quinta, linea quarta, or something like that, the line 4, whatever it is. So then maybe somebody wants to start, and you say, okay, legam hanc sententiam. I will read, right? Or if you're telling someone else, you read, right? Tu, lege hanc sententiam, right? And so lege is read, of course. And so, and you can always add quaeso if you want to, you know, make it polite. Lege hanc sententiam quaeso. And then somebody might start. Grumio, triclinium intrat et circumspectat. Okay? And then maybe it's your turn to translate. Or maybe you're going to have someone else translate. So you'll say, you know, visne transfere Anglice. Do you want to translate into English? Visne transfere Anglice. And then you know, the person can go. They say, oh, Grumio enters the dining room and looks around. That's Grumio triclinium intrat et circumspectat. Well, maybe you get to this and you're not sure about the meaning of a word, right? So then somebody could stop and say, quid significat intrat? And then the other person could say, scio triclinium intrat significat enters. And you go from there, right? Or you could say, nescio, quaere in vocabulario. Look up in the back, look up in the vocabulary, because most books that you might have would have a vocabulary in the back, or you have a separate, you know, dictionary or something. And so you can do that. And so you can also say, right, what does quid significat can be a general phrase, like what does it mean? Or you could be referring to a specific thing. Quid significat vocabulum intrat, right? What does the word intrat mean? Or quid significat sententia? What does the sentence mean? Either way. So you can talk about that too. And then if you are feeling like you can, right? So quiz, visne transfere, you could say possum, I can. Or you could say non possum transfere, I cannot read, or I cannot translate, right? So those are a few phrases that you can use. At the end, if somebody did a good job, you can say, bene factum, well done, or optime factum, you could even add. And then when we're done, you could say, finis est, or if we're not done, but time is up, you can say, finem faciamus, let's finish. So this has been very brief, but my hope is that in a few minutes here, using this handout in this video, you've got a few words, few tools that you can use to make it so that that even if you have to use a lot of English, you're still starting to use more Latin in a more natural way, because that's the goal. And the more that you use Latin, the better you're going to be able to understand it as both a reader and maybe as a speaker as well. The next step to take for those who are interested in the challenge is to try, instead of translating into English, try translating or rephrasing what you're reading into simpler Latin. So this is more for more advanced students or people who are looking for the challenge. But personally, in my own development, that was something that I found to be very powerful, which was sitting down with other people and taking a difficult text and working together in Latin to translate it into simpler Latin that we could all understand. And of course, using English when we need to translate a word or phrase. But that I found was a really fun activity to do that helped me make a lot of progress in my Latin when I was sort of at the intermediate / trying to advance, trying to work my way up to a more advanced level. So I hope you found these tools helpful. Please do refer back to the previous videos in this YouTube channel as well. And I will hopefully see you again soon with more videos. Valete omnes.